Hi folks, I'm just going to do a little demonstration video here on your new van and give you a quick rundown how everything operates. So we'll just go inside here first and we'll give you a wee look at we'll start off here with the control panel. Now this switch here in the corner is your main on and off switch for your 12 volt. Just switch the van on and off. Down here then you have your pump switch. This is a heater actually for heating your wastewater tank. And over this side then you have your indicators. You have your fresh water, you can see there it's lighting up, and when your waste is full that'll light up there. See the wee box beside it? When you're plugged in, that G there will light up. And then we have our leisure battery, which is in this button here, and it shows the level there. It's up full. And then we have our engine battery. Now the only thing we say about batteries, we'd always recommend that you plug the van in at least 2 days every fortnight, especially in the winter time when you're not maybe using the van. All year round really, but if in the summer maybe not as much, you're going to be using the van more, but especially over the winter time, make sure you plug the van in at least 2 days a fortnight, and that just keeps your leisure battery charged up and ready to go. If you leave it for months and months, you're just looking for bother with the battery. So that's the main thing we just recommend. Now when you start this van, the same as nearly all the campers, it charges when you plug the van in, and it charges both from the engine as well when you're driving along. So you'll see the indicator here going up when you plug the van in, and when you start the engine you'll see it going up as well. So that's just your control panel. Now the next thing we're just going to look at then is your fridge. This fridge here is just a 12 volt fridge, and how you switch it on, just turn that knob around, you'll see the light coming on, and that's the fridge on, and then you just pick your temperature here and you can hear the fridge starting up there. Now, and that's it switched off again. So that's how you switch the fridge on and off. It's straightforward enough. So the next thing we're going to look at here, we're looking at our trimmer control panel, and you can see there's a few things going on here. I have a heating on gas here at the moment, but I'll just go into it. How this actually operates, this bottom screen it'll show you the time, and it'll scroll around to the temperature that you're looking for. I have the heating on at the moment and we're looking for 21 degrees, and on the top screen here, this flashing flame means we have the heating on. It's on gas and the fan's running. So that's for heating the van inside. So anytime you have anything above that line, there's something going on, there's something switched on. So anything that's switched on is going to be on that top line. If that top line's completely blank, the heating's off, so you haven't got anything set. So how we set this now, we'll just go in, we'll press this button. So it's all about pressing this button and turning it, this one here. So we'll press this button first, and you can see now we have these 4 symbols in the top, and we have a couple here in the bottom, but we're just going to concentrate on these 4 at the top. Now the first thing we have is our camper van, and that's actually heating the van. So you can see the van and the wee flame above it. Now once you leave it for about 5 seconds, it always goes back to that screen, so you'll have to press this again to get back in. What we have here is heating the van, and we're going to turn this now. See, it turns over and back. Now it doesn't take much to move it. The first one's heating the van, the next one here is heating the water, the next one here is your power selection, the next one here is your fan, the last one here. So we'll go in first and we'll change the heating in the van, which is the camper van. Now he's flashing there now, so we press the button and there it's giving us a temperature. Now this is the temperature we can choose. We can choose right up to 30 degrees and right back to whatever temperature you want. Now if you want to switch off the heating, you'll go right back till it says off. Now whatever we pick here now, when we press that button, we've stored that as what we want. So if we go to say 25 degrees and press that, that's now stored that as the temperature we want the van to run at. Now at this stage, if we don't want hot water, we'll just skip this one. We just want to heat the van, we'll skip this one and go on to the gas tank and the 2 wee lightnings there. So, and we'll press this. Now the first thing comes up as gas. Now if we turn this now again clockwise and anti-clockwise, you'll see it's got 5 different settings. It's got gas, it's got mix 1, mix 2, electric 1 and electric 2. And what that means is the first one is just gas on its own. We'll forget about the mixes in a second. Go into electric. You have 2 elements in electric. You have electric 1 and electric 2. So this is on your mains. So you have 2 elements of electric or 1 element of electric. The reason they give you these extra, the choice, is if you're in some foreign countries, they don't give you as much power. You might have to go on to electric 1 because electric 2 will be too strong for the voltage that you're getting in. So we'll just go back into let's see what, back into that again. So what you have is you have gas. The mix 1 is gas and 1 element of electric. Mix 2 is gas and 2 elements of electric. And then you have 1 element of electric on its own, or 2 elements of electric on its own. Or you can go straight back onto gas. Now when we're not plugged in, the only thing you're going to be able to use is gas. So if we want gas now, we'll press OK. And then the last one then is the fan, we'll press that. And it gives us a choice between eco and high. That's just 2 different settings. As the low setting, which is the normal one, or if you want a higher fan. So we press high here now. You can see every time we move that, see the wee propeller there gets bigger and smaller. So if we go on to high and press OK. Now if at this stage, if we want to see what we've set, press the return button, which is this one. And you can see now we've set the heating on gas with the high fan at 26 degrees. So I'll just show you that now. See that if we want to switch that temperature again, we'll go in here and we'll go say to 20 degrees. Always press OK, and return, and it'll show that we've now changed the desired temperature to 20. So to switch the heating off, go into the camper van, press the button again, turn your temperature right down to off, and press OK. And when we press the return button, we've now turned off the heating. So the same again if we want hot water. We'll go in here, we'll skip the camper van, we'll go on straight onto the water heating, press OK, and it gives us a choice. We can have it off, we can have it at eco, or we can have it at hot. And there's a boost setting there as well, which just gives you hot water for an hour. But the main ones we're going to concentrate on are just the off, your eco, which is 40 degrees, and hot, which is 60 degrees. So the hot's really for having a shower, and the eco is just for normal use around your sinks. So if we press eco, OK, and what we're gonna, so we've now put that on the top screen. We've now picked the hot water on eco, which is 40 degrees, and we're going to go over here now and ask it what we're going to tell it what we want to heat it with. So at this stage, if you wanted to heat the hot water on electric, we will bring this down to EL2 and press that and press return. And now we're heating the water at eco, which is 40 degrees, on the 2 bars of electric. So that's whatever you're left with on that top screen when you press the return button is what you've set. So if we press this again to turn off the water, we'll go in here, press that and go back to the off option, press OK, and press the return button. We've now switched off the water heating. So we press this again now, we'll go back into, we'll put that back to gas, press OK. Now that alarm came up there now, see the wee triangle, it's disappeared again, because we tried to put on that electric heating with the fan not plugged in. So that's your 4 different settings at the top. The fan only works in conjunction with the heater, and then you have your power source and then your hot water on this side. And then if we come on down to the bottom here, we can set our clock. So it's 9:42, 10:40, I think that's about right there now, 42. Okay, and there's a timer here as well in this corner. Now the timer, you can read it up in the book in the bag, but we'd recommend that you get used to this top line first, and then you can read up how the timer works. It's fairly straightforward. I'll just go on quickly and show you. It gives you a start time, and every time you press the button it asks you something else. The next time, that's our start time, our end time. It asks us what we want to do. Do you want to switch on the heating? No, we don't. We want to press on the water, we can put on the water. And it'll ask you if you want the timer on, but we don't. We'll just press return. So anytime you don't know where you're at and you think you've messed things up, always press the return button and it'll bring you back to that screen. Now the last thing is, if you want to switch off that screen, you hold your finger on that button and it'll say off, and that's the panel actually switched off. So that's all there is to your heating. So the next thing I want to show you is just underneath the table here. You can see we have all our electrics underneath this. There's a floor cover in here. You have your charger, you have all your 12 volt fuses, your main 220 volt trips, and we'd recommend too that you wouldn't store anything in there. So that's where all that lives. So folks, we're just outside the van here now, and we're inside the back door. So we hatch in here, and you can see what you have here is the valve for draining your freshwater tank. So to open this, just give it 2 turns backwards and it'll drain that tank, and then 2 turns forward. 2 turns is sufficient to drain the whole tank. And in here now, I'll just show you, we have another hatch off inside here. And what we're looking at here is your frost valve. Now, this is the only water valve that you're really going to have to work at that's concerning the heating. And how this operates is, at the moment now it's in the right position, it's closed, and this little button here is pressed in. So that's straight and the button's pressed in. Now what happens to this valve is at 2 degrees that'll actually open, and when it opens you can see the button shoots out. So that's the open position there, and to close it, we'll put that around straight and press the button back in. So what that does there, that at 2 degrees that'll actually open and drains all the water out of your hot water heater, and plus it'll depressurize all your taps. So at that stage, if you turn off your pump inside and open all your taps, everything will drain out through this valve, when you're winterizing the van. So you can come around here and do that manually in the winter time. You can open that valve, let that blue button shoot out, and open all your taps in between hot and cold inside, and let all the water run back. And you can actually blow into the taps if you're concerned about getting the water actually out of the heads of the taps and your shower hoses and stuff like that, and everything will come back through here. So any time that you've got no pressure or there's some sort of funny pressure coming out of your taps, always come in and check this valve. That's the way it should be. That's the open position there, and the closed is that way, and press in the button. So that's your frost valve. Now if it's too cold for that to stay in, you're just going to have to put on the heating and heat up this area a wee bit before it'll stay closed. So we're just looking at your gas locker here, and you have your 2 tanks, and we always run the vans on propane. They shouldn't be run on anything else like butane or anything else, just always stay on propane. The way they open and close is just a valve on top of the tank. That's that closed, and that's that open. So we'll just leave that closed now, we don't need the gas. And how this hose screws off, it loosens clockwise, which means we're turning it that way, clockwise to loosen and anti-clockwise to tighten. And there's a little rubber o-ring in there that you need to check every time you're changing this hose, and we've given you a spanner as well for loosening that. So that's your gas there. If you just close it off there, and that's how you change your hose. Loosen it clockwise and tighten anti-clockwise. Now the only thing I would say about the winterization of the van, which is the blue valve was on here, when you come back then after the winter time, you just close that valve up and switch on your pump and put your hot tap on to fill up the water heater. And once the water heater's full up, you'll get a free flow of water out through your tap. So that's how you get your water back into your van after the winter time. So the next thing we're looking at here is your toilet cassette. Now make sure that there's no water in the toilet before you pull this out. That just clips off there and pulls out. Clips back in and has to go back into here. The only thing you'll have to do when you're changing this is just screw off your lid here and empty it, and put in your blue chemical. And you have a good bit of storage space there for your chemical bottles and gloves and stuff like that. Moving along here underneath the van here now, we have our valve. You can see at the side here, that just opens and closes for your wastewater. You can see the wee bit coming out there. So that's your valve for your wastewater tank, for all your sinks and showers. And then up here then we have our main plug-in on the side. This is all on the passenger side. And then coming over here then underneath the passenger seat, you see you have a wee flap here at the front. It drops down, you have your jack and wheel brace in there. And then come around here then we have our bonnet pull. So you need to have the door open to get the bonnet open. And we'll just take a wee quick look at your engine here now to see. The only stuff you're going to have to really be looking at is your window wash here. You come around here to your dipstick at the front. Now that's just your engine coolant and your brake fluid and stuff here. And then if you ever have to jump start the van, there's a positive terminal here, and you can put the negative on to one of these metal fasteners here at the front. But that's where your positive goes there, and there's a little flap that just drops down top of it. And you can actually see there, it shows a jump lead there with a wee plus on it. So that's where that is. And then back around here then again, the only other thing you have then is your leisure batteries in there underneath the driver's seat. And your freshwater fill here is at the back on the right hand side, just in front of the back light there. That's your freshwater fill. So we'll just move on to in this cupboard here beside your TV, this is the booster for your aerial. Now you can switch it on and off here, but you as well just leaving it on. It'll switch off when you switch off the fan, and it's turned up as far as it'll go, and that's just the booster. You have the in and out on it, and then your 12 volt. Now with the TV tuned in, it's tuning in okay, but the only thing we didn't have was the remote. But that was okay. We got everything else going. We made up a lead and all for the TV, so that's all working as well. So just in your bathroom here, it will show you your toilet. Your flush here is the blue button. You just press that. You have to always have the pump on for that to work, and you'll get a red light on here when the cassette needs full, or when your cassette needs empty. You'll get a red light on there to tell you it's full. And then just around the side here is your shutter, and always make sure if you have kids that they push it back the full way, that last wee bit there when you're closing it. So your table here, and just looking at it here, you have a couple of wee locks here at the back. The way they unlock is you just press them down that way there, and that unlocks them, and you can lift the table up at like a 45 degrees angle to release it from the bar here, and you can drop the table down onto the bottom bar here if you want to make up that bed, and there's extra cushions in the back for that. And then you have your flip out as well. You've probably seen that. Your flip out here, you pull that down to flip out this bottom piece here. So we're just here in the cab. What we have here, you have your aircon. If you want cold air, you need the aircon on. This is your aircon button here. Moving around here, you have, this is your cruise control. So you can flip that up the way there to get your cruise control on. What you do is, the cruise is this way here, turn that on and press it up the way, just one shot up, and that'll bring on your cruise. And then at the bottom here you have a speed limiter that you can set as well. Now how that actually works is, when we press this up and down, you can set the limit there on the screen. See that 39, 40, 45, we're up to 45. If you want to set a limit for the van, if you set that at 45 and switch that on and then press in the button, you can see when I press in the button it goes off and on. The van will drive up to 5 mile an hour and it won't go any further. So it's not like cruise control, but it's a speed limiter, and it's handy for speed limits. It saves you looking at the clocks all the time. You can set, if you want to set that you can set that at whatever speed you want. If you want it at 60 mile an hour, the van will not go over 60, and you just switch it on and off then by pressing the button on the side there. You can see it coming off and on. Everything else is fairly car-like. You have your stereo in the middle. It'll take you a wee while to sort of get used to what's going on there, but it's got all your navigation and the whole lot on it. And then when you put the van in reverse, you'll get your reverse camera coming on in the middle there as well. So I hope this video was a bit of a help to you. If you have any questions about anything in the van, you can give us a ring anytime. I think I've gone through most of the stuff. There's this wee map holder here. You can see it just lifts up. I just pulled that up at the back, and there's a wee handle here at the side you pull out, and you can hold to the likes of a laptop or whatever you want on there. So I'll just clip them back in again and push that down. When you have the aircon on too, you're going to get a bit of cold air going into this compartment here. Just handy for cans and stuff like that. Your swivels and your seats, and just these handles here at the side. But I think I've sort of covered nearly everything now that you're going to need to get you started up. So anytime at all, give us a ring, and the best of luck with your new van. Thanks very much.